My boyfriend is pressuring me into his fetish. So my boyfriend, M31, and F29, I have a less traditional relationship. We've been dating almost 3 years. When we were first talking, he told me about his fetish and we had an open conversation about it. When we got more serious, he and I decided that he should see a professional for his fetish. We did some research and met a sex worker that was experienced in his fetish and others. I've met her quite a few times and it's understood that this is a business relationship and my boyfriend is her client. That scratch being itched for him, our relationship was perfect. Sex was amazing, he's so loving and caring towards me and I really see myself spending my life with him. Things changed during the pandemic. The sex worker decided for safety reasons for both her and her clients that she'd stop seeing them in person and only focus on her online content. At first, we were fine, but in December he got really pushy and trying to persuade and bargain with me into doing his fetish. I can't. It makes me physically ill to where I feel nauseous. I've told him no and that he needs to figure out another way to get himself off in that way. He got upset at me and said it's impossible unless he has a partner. I've been sleeping in the guest room for the last few nights because he tried initiating it while we were already intimate. I'm setting my boundaries, but it's frustrating he's not respecting them and no longer respecting because his need to get off in a certain way is more important than my feelings. I kind of want to break up over this, but he's been perfect up until this. I'm so lost on what to do. Any advice would be helpful. He's been perfect with you because he's never had to go without before, and this is what he's like without it. It sucks, but he's showing you that his fetish is more important than you. This has been present since the beginning of your relationship. He told you straight up when you met in hopes of getting you to do it. The fact that he's trying to force it in you is an alarming red flag. I'd be wary of having sex with anyone who tries to sneak in something they know I hate. That's a form of rape or at least sexual assault. He knows better. He's not confused, he just thinks he can just do it and you'll get over it even if you hate it. Or hey, in the heat of the moment she'll just let it happen. It's disgusting. I didn't see it like that at first, but you're right. When it happened I felt so betrayed and second to his needs. It's like he wasn't thinking about me at all. It's a lot to process. Do you really want to be in a relationship where your happiness is contingent on the availability of a sex worker? Things are always perfect in a relationship until they're not. Your boyfriend is showing you his true colors right now. Listen to him. Straight up, he either needs to find a different partner, one that will participate in his fetish, or just restrain himself to wait. No sexual fetish is that important that it can't wait a few months. You should already be his personal hero for letting him meet up with a sex worker. That's already way more accommodating than most partners would be. Just to enforce this, and make it a bit more personal, you are allowing me to see a sex worker to act out certain fantasies of mine, which most people would see as cheating. I am also paying her with money that I could spend on you, or at least as, reducing the budget that is available to the both of us. Obviously in return, I will make sure that the sex between you and me will be as satisfying as you could ever want it to be, including not pressuring you into doing stuff you don't want to. Okay, since you've shared it's blood play / knife play, here's what might be a helpful story about that in particular. A close friend, also my roommate, was dating a guy who was really into it. He wanted to cut people with knives and razors during sex and foreplay. He was kind of obsessed with it. She did some very light stuff with him, but it wasn't enough. So he started pushing her to get drunk, like super drunk, and would do it to her without her consent after he was also denied access to former partners or sex workers when they started seeing each other exclusively. Eventually I had an intervention after a horrifying incident. He came home late, fell into bed. In the morning I was behind her in the hallway and the back of her robe was sheer. It was covered in cuts, like he had made a fucking design on her back with razor cuts. They can be pretty painless, so all she knew was that her back felt kind of tight and weird. He took off her robe and he had cut her all over. I have seen some shit in my life, but watching a woman realize with growing surprise, that her body had been mutilated was one of the worst. She was so deep into that relationship that she didn't leave him after that. And because she now had so much experience with razors and so much humiliation and numbness, she started self-harming. It continued for about 10 years, though she got out of the relationship about a year after that incident. I also have some friends who are sex workers, and most of the absolutely hate and refuse to work with biters, even if they do more extreme or simulated stuff. They tend to be violent and dangerous and don't respect boundaries. They often get blacklisted after pushing it. He isn't just pressuring you, he physically attempted it whilst you were intimate despite you having told him absolutely not. How can you trust him again? Question mark. I don't think I can trust him, which hurts. I got a lot to think about. My BF jacked off to a cam girl and I feel betrayed. So my boyfriend, 24, followed a girl back on Instagram because he said they had mutual friends and she lives in Singapore, which he thought was cool. I, 24, don't check up on his social media, so I'm just saying what he admitted to. Anyway, they would ming and she invited him into a Skype call where she was touching herself. Then, he did the same. She took a video of him and threatened to send it to me and his friends if he didn't pay her money. He got so freaked out that he ended up telling me a few minutes after it happened. What hurts the most is that I was in our room chilling with the door open, and he was doing this bullshit in the living room on my camera. I am very hurt and don't know if I can forgive him. I'm basically just asking advice if anyone has been in my situation. Was it hard to forgive the person, or was it even possible? He has kept things from me in the past that have hurt me, and things were finally looking up until this happened. I feel like I'm not good enough for him, but he says this isn't true and it was just a one-time stupid mistake. Sorry if this is all jumbled up. I'm still shaking. Edit. Hi everyone, sorry for taking long with an update. The large response to my post was very overwhelming, but I appreciate everyone who gave me advice, whether it was to leave him or to talk about the issues he may have. I have decided it is best for me to leave because it is affecting my mental health at the moment. I am really distraught right now and need some space, but thank you everyone. Wow, he's had other patterns of issues. Well, this is sign. It ain't stopping. Every time you forgive him and let go, he knows he'll be able to continue doing the same stupid things with the same excuses. BC, he knows you'll stick around. Cut your losses and respect yourself enough to not put up with the disrespect. Yeah, I totally feel the same. It's just hard cause we live together, recently just moved in too. Thank you for the advice. I'm really preparing myself for when he comes home. Is this the same boyfriend who screams at you and calls you stupid? Why exactly are you with him? It's not that you're not good enough for him, he's clearly not good enough for you. This isn't just a stupid mistake. He didn't just jack off to a cam girl. He was talking to another girl, and I am guessing it wasn't just platonic talk and then he started to jack off with this girl. He cheated on you. This is not just a mistake. He made some active decisions to get there. This guy is incredibly selfish and he probably has some serious problems. I would guess a porn addiction in that case. I wouldn't say it's worth it spending more time with somebody who hides things and is ready to do this. Your title makes it sound like he was watching porn of some cam girl he wasn't in contact with, which would still be bad, but this was a girl he was talking to, engaging with, and then she wanted to jack off with him and he said yes. He could just have turned it off, could have said no, but he didn't. He engaged with her. That's what makes this cheating and so much worse. Also, if this girl hadn't threatened him, do you think he would have told you? With how many girls has he done this before and you don't know about it? You deserve better. You need to value yourself. It's not worth it to waste time on someone that treats you like this. You don't mistakenly open the DM, go to the next room, open Skype, log in on Skype, join the Skype call, turn on the camera, and start touching yourself. Cheating is never a mistake. Leave him. My 22M GF F21F, is pretending to be a virgin. My girlfriend lost her virginity with her ex-boyfriend when she was 18. It wasn't a good relationship by any means. They were incompatible due to various reasons and pretty toxic towards each other, and he certainly isn't a good person by any means. She hated her first time. They only had sex once, because it was painful and he wasn't very loving. He even made some disparaging comments about her body. I told her that I don't mind at all that she is not a virgin, but of course she still heavily regrets it. Around a week ago I made a joke about her not being a virgin. We've been having sex for over a year, and she responded something like, "You're the reason for that after all." A few days later the same thing happened when she told me that she was a virgin before she met me. I understand why she does this, and a part of me is flattered that she would have wanted me to be her first, but I can't help but get an uneasy feeling about it. It might be because I'm a very honest person, but it feels like a delusion to me. At which point should I be concerned about her? Edit. Thanks a lot for the feedback. I wasn't going to bring it up to her and you reassured me about that. I'll try not to worry about it too much and play along. Since a few people have slightly misunderstood, she doesn't not count it as losing her virginity. The way she said it was implying that she actually never had sex before she met me. It had something to do with pregnancy. To everyone saying virginity is a social construct, I feel the same way and I've expressed this to her previously. Edit 2. I can't believe it needs to be said, but I know my girlfriend's humor and I can assure you that she didn't take my joke in a bad way. We are immature 20-year-olds and make dumb, corny sex jokes all the time. Side note, if you believe saying someone is not a virgin is offensive, you should really check which side of the fence you are on, because in my opinion not being a virgin is not a bad thing and shouldn't be treated as an insult. This white lie probably has nothing to do with you, and more to do with the fact that she doesn't want to remember her first time anymore. I wouldn't think too much about it. She's not lying to you, she's lying to herself. It could also be that it wasn't consensual. He guilted/forced her before she was ready, hence she described it as painful and him not loving, and therefore it would be rape and not sex. This would really make sense. Virginity is a socially constituted concept and in my opinion it's more of a mental thing than physical. If the first time with current BF was loving, consensual and felt like sex, then she can absolutely count it as her first time without it being a lie. Edit. Just wanted to add how infuriating it is when men think penises have some type of power and by simply inserting one you aren't a virgin. And the fact that virginity is seen as pure and desired. The more I think about it, the more I think virginity should stop being a concept, especially when thinking of all the people who've experienced rape and get shamed by society for it. Children who get raped and have to see themselves as tainted and never being able to have a good first time. Fuck all of that, man. Instead of virginity we should tell each other this is the most connected and loved I've ever felt. With each person we meet there's always a chance we feel a deeper connection. That way it's nothing that can be forcefully taken away from us. Instead it can only be improved. It's unimportant. If it helps her move past a traumatic experience, let it be. I kinda get it. Her first time was far from anything she imagined and it seems that she got that with her first time with you, so now she considers that her first time. While my first time having consensual sex, I was raped, but since I didn't consent I don't like thinking of it as my first time. Wasn't traumatic, it was definitely far from ideal. Lasted 10 seconds and I didn't even know it was in yet. Best sex ever for him, his first time too, and I didn't realize what happened till it was over. So my first 2 sexual experiences were not something I wanted to remember or ever recount. We broke up, for other reasons, lot of issues, and years later I ended up with my now boyfriend of over 2 years. The first time we had sex was absolutely amazing. It completely changed my view on sex. My partner knows and why I consider it my first time. It was the first time I enjoyed it. I'm assuming it's the same way for your partner.